Hey folks, I'm officially in year 2 of college. I'm an even bigger boy now.
So Corey's not my roommate anymore, but I decided to pay him a visit to see how he's doing. How's it going, Corey?
What the
It's been a while.
How the fuck did you get in here?
I just wanted to see how you're
How are
doing.
you in my
I
apartment?
mean, like,
I don't- how the
what's
heck-
up?
get out
I
of
just
here.
wanted,
What the
like,
fuck?
Anyway, welcome to the new place. It's pretty sweet. There's a lot of cool stuff to be found here.
This is my plastic bag collection.
Studies show that tweets are 70% more credible when you put them on a banner. Words to live by. I've been told I have roommates, but hey, I've never seen them. And the best part? I finally own a shelf so I can prove to people that I play video games. Nothing says gamer like Club Penguin Game Day for Wii. Unfortunately, the main downside of school starting back up is I have to go outside and interact with other human beings. I've been kind of worried about overdosing on human interactions, so what's the best way to get my daily dose of shut-in gamerness? This one never lets me down. Ah, old reliable. The madness never ends. We last left off beginning our march through the northern part of Route 210. You ever not ridden a bike? Yeah, that's basically this area. It's carpeted in extremely tall grass, so we have to get around how God intended for now. There's a few ninja boys that hide in the grass and pop out at you. It's a lot like a pregnancy. You're just enjoying your life, minding your own business, and then boom, child. Always gotta stay on your toes. After that, we have sadism. Remember when I said it wasn't worth it to throw away a move slot just to get rid of fog in the few areas it appears in? Yeah, I lied. This route is long enough that I feel I can justify using defog because it is pure suffering otherwise. I'm sorry, Hamlet. Your sacrifice won't be in vain. So I press on, battle an ace trainer, and Pingu evolves! Fuck yeah! My boy's all grown up now. Your starter becoming fully evolved is always a special moment in Pokemon games. It's a lot more fulfilling to watch your child come of age when they don't turn into a gaming YouTuber. It's a great marker of just how far you've come in your adventure. Seeing the full potential of the one party member that's been with you since the very beginning is such a rewarding feeling. It's a sign that you're really in this thing. You're in big boy territory now. I mean, Pingu and I have suffered through 4 whole talk sessions of this game now. That's gotta count for something. Anyway, we move on to the next part of the route. I wonder if we're gonna continue to not ride our bike. Oh my god. You ever ridden a bike over a public safety hazard? Yeah, that's basically this segment. Eventually, we reach Celestic Town, and the first thing I do is go underground. My game didn't crash on me this time, so that's a good sign. The underground was probably some cool shit back in the day, being designed heavily around local wireless multiplayer. You could run around with your friends in the same space, make secret bases and decorate them, compete for flags. It was great. See, each secret base had a flag, and you could steal them from other players' bases. If you managed to run it all the way back to your base without another player catching you, you'd increase your flag count, which would give you more space in your base and allow you to place more decorations. You could also set traps to slow down other players, which was the primary way of catching up to people who stole your flag. Traps and flags were bought and sold in exchange for spheres, little trinkets that you could find by digging in the walls. You could even plant them in the ground to grow them into larger spheres, which were required to buy certain items. Also, talking to enough players was the only way to get Spiritomb. And that's pretty much it as far as underground multiplayer goes. It's a little shallow, but it definitely does contribute to the theme of human interaction and connectivity found in Pokemon games. I don't know how widely used this feature was back in the day, but at the very least, I really appreciate the concept. And I've gotta say, talking about it does kinda bring me back to simpler times of playing local wireless Pokemon with my friends on our DS's. Back then, if you wanted to play your favorite games with friends, you couldn't just sit depressed in a Discord call, you had to work for it. Part of it is just my nostalgia goggles talking. Multiplayer is way more simple and convenient nowadays, and it's not like my friends and I used wireless features that much, but there was a certain magic and charm to that time period that I definitely miss a little. Unfortunately, the underground is a bit more abandoned nowadays because of a little thing called "this game is old." Of course I'm playing on an emulator, so I wouldn't be able to use these features anyway, but even if I were playing on the original hardware, the chances are slim to none that I'd find anyone using this feature anymore. The main purpose for the underground nowadays is scavenging for precious resources. You can scan the area around you using the touchscreen to find sparkling spots in the walls. When you interact with them, you get to play this little mining minigame to find mostly spheres and the occasional useful item. I did a bit of digging and found a couple neat things, namely heart scales, a yellow shard, and a rare bone, but even still, most of my spoils were just spheres. Can you imagine going on a mining expedition with your friends and hearing, "Holy shit, guys, I found a shape!" I then make a quick stop in Pastoria City to say hi to the move reminder. As I've said before, I'm a big fan of this feature, and now I actually get to use it. I taught Meta Knight Night Slash as I wanted to rework his moveset to be based around physical moves since that's his dominant stat. I really wanted to teach him Leaf Blade too since I just think it's a cool move, but I already have Flowey for grass type coverage so I couldn't justify spending a heart scale on it. I also taught Flowey Giga Drain, which was kinda dumb because Roselia actually learns that move by level up, but it's pre-evolution Budu doesn't, and evidently Flowey didn't evolve into Roselia fast enough so I had to waste a heart scale on it. Giga Drain is a kinda unfortunate move because it's probably the best special attacking grass move Flowey could learn at this point in the game, and yet it only does 60 damage and has 10 PP. Sometimes I stay up late at night pondering the injustice. Anyway, back to Celestic Town. This old lady says there's a guy with a bomb, so naturally I decide to go shopping real quick. I sold the rare bone I dug up underground and found out I was fabulously wealthy, goes to show you the value of carrying the amulet coin around all the time. I then go breaking and entering, learn some stuff about legendary Pokemon, and finally confront the terrorist threat as any child does. The Galactic Grunt goes down easily as usual, and the old lady, aka the town elder, aka Cynthia's grandma, whom we originally came to deliver the old charm to, comes to commend us on our amazing feat of bravery. I give her the old charm like the good courier boy I am, and decide to check out the inside of the ruins. So much going on in here. So the elder starts explaining the cave painting to us when who else but Cyrus walks in. He starts interrogating the poor old lady about the balance of the world or some dumb shit like that, and then threatens to destroy the painting. I guess he really hates cavemen or something. Of course that won't do, so we decide to settle things like gentlemen. This here's our first battle with Cyrus. He's the leader of Team Galactic, so he's gonna be a fairly tough boss to take down. Can you tell I'm just setting up for an anticlimactic moment where I reveal that all he has are 3 not fully evolved Pokemon? Like, wow, way to make him a real threatening villain. Of course I beat him pretty easily, so out of honor and respect for rules and social norms, he decides not to barbarically destroy a cultural artifact. Good on you, Cyrus. He says some stuff about the beings of time and space and then hightails it out of there. After he leaves, the elder gives us a glimmer of hope. I like Surf, it's got the most utility of any HM by far, and it's a solid 95 power water attack, which makes it not a complete waste of a move slot. I honestly use it as my preferred water move most of the time. So get ready to hang 10, Pingu, because Bubble Beam just isn't cutting it anymore. I then meet Cynthia outside of the ruins. Wait a second. If she was gonna be here anyway, why did she send me to deliver the old charm? Great, another thing to lose sleep over. Anyway, she tells me to head off to Canalave City to check out the library. I guess her only purpose in this game is telling me where to go. Before I do that, though, I decide to take a little break from story progression to check out some optional side areas. I love little detours like this in Pokemon games. Just taking time to discover new areas all by yourself really adds to that feeling of adventure. Not only that, but most of the time you'll find some neat Pokemon or items or battles to help level up your team that you aren't gonna see if you just plow straight through the main story. It's really rewarding. All the time I've spent wandering around, scouring the nooks and crannies of various games' regions really helps shape the way I play video games in general. It's made me into something of an explorer. It's why I take 3 hours to get to class every day. Anyway, our first stop is Route 211, immediately to the west of Celestic Town. It's a tiny area with not much going on. I pick some berries, battle some trainers, and then we're back down to Earth. We'll show you Owl best? Well, I don't really give a hoot about your stupid puns. Next up is this area, immediately south of Sandgem Town, that is for some reason 3 separate routes. It's a collection of water routes that were previously inaccessible, but now that I have Surf, I'm able to sail around to my heart's content. An instance of HMs adding more depth to exploration and encouraging you to revisit previous areas. How about that? There really isn't much to find here, but I still enjoy navigating it simply because I don't have to. That's part of the magic of exploration in Pokemon games. It makes it feel like your own adventure. Although I've never been the biggest fan of water routes, there's hardly any distinctive marks of where you are relative to everything else. I always find myself zigzagging around to make sure I didn't miss anything. Not to mention the constant threat of random encounters, unless you spam repels like I do, I suppose. Also, there's just so many trainer battles with the same damn Pokemon. It's a continuous cycle of sending out the same Pokemon with a type advantage to spam the same moves over and over, except when you run out of PP because Giga Drain only has 10 for the love of Christ! Anyway, after that, I walk up into Route 202 and, okay, I'm in the Great Marsh now for some reason. Not sure how that happened. I guess I paused the recording and then just forgot to unpause for a while, but I suppose while I'm here, I might as well spare some thoughts about it. Honestly, Safari Zones in Pokemon kinda suck. In theory, they're kinda neat, a special area where you have to play the game in a slightly modified way in order to nab certain Pokemon. It's like a sort of minigame, and it rewards you with certain rare encounters for putting time and effort into it. But I'm not a big fan of this. Obviously, getting stuck in the mud is more of a this game specific thing, but also more generally, I'm not big on the steps limit, wild Pokemon are erratic and unpredictable, and most of the time the selection of possible wild encounters just isn't worth the trouble. I'm assuming I was looking for a Tropius to serve as an HM Swiss Army knife, and granted, old Banana Brachiosaurus is pretty cool, but I never found one anyway. Apparently the Great Marsh has different wild encounters on different days, and you can look through the binoculars to see which ones are currently available. Yep, seeing no potassium. Next up, we revisit the Orberg Gate from way earlier in the game. This area was almost entirely inaccessible before, save for the main path, but with the power of Rock Smash and Surf, I can finally explore the basement area properly. There's some bike ramps here, because what else do you put in an underground cave? I found the TM for Brick Break, which is pretty nice, and I battled some old guy with a Riolu, but other than that, there isn't much except for a bit that's still inaccessible because I don't have the HM for Strength. Ugh. Next place to revisit is the Ravaged Path, also from fairly early on in our adventure. There's a TM for Water Pulse here, but it requires Surf to get to, and who the hell is going to teach their Pokemon Water Pulse if they already have access to Surf? This river on Route 205 takes us to some fun places. There's an Electorizer and the TM for Thunderbolt by the Valley Windworks, and the Floroma Meadows got a Miracle Seed, a Rare Candy, and a Leaf Stone. There's also one new area to discover, that being the Fuego Ironworks. Fun fact, Fuego means fire in Spanish. I find its inclusion really interesting. The fact that Europe still exists puts a bit of a dystopian spin on the Pokemon universe. There's these spin tiles everywhere, and they're not that annoying. In fact, they add a bit of a unique puzzle aspect to the area, but there'll be the occasional misstep that sends you way back to the beginning and you'll start to regret having hands. After fighting some Steel-type Pokemon, I realized that Meta Knight probably could use a proper Fighting-type move, so I decided to make some use out of the Brick Break TM I found earlier. When the hell did I teach him Swords Dance? I also met this guy, Mr. Fuego, who I can only assume is the leader of the Europeans. He'll give you one shard of each color in exchange for star pieces. Star pieces are helpful for making a quick buck, but I've got a decent amount of cash already at this point, and shards are really helpful for move tutors that'll teach your Pokemon certain moves in exchange for them, so overall I'd say it's a decent bargain. Though I do find it funny that he actually gives you a star piece when you first talk to him and then immediately offers to trade you shards for it. Gotta get the customers hooked somehow, I suppose. I also found the TM for Flamethrower here, though none of my Pokemon can make use of it anyway. A part of me always gets sad when I find a good TM but I'm not able to use it with any of my party members. It feels like I'm wasting it. Like, why have fists if you don't beat the shit out of someone every once in a while? Anyway, after that I lose some more footage and then magically end up in Canalave City. It's a nice place, it's got a bridge and everything. When did I teach Meta Knight Fire Punch? This here is the Harbor Inn, and it's locked. Anyway, I catch up with Brendan again, and we have another battle. Looks like he added a Heracross to his team, but he still hasn't added much of a challenge. After that, we check out the library that Cynthia told me to go to. It's neat, but it shows that the game really doesn't understand its target audience. I'm a gamer, I hate reading. And there doesn't seem to be anything story-related going on here at the moment, so I guess it's off to Iron Island. I meet a guy named Riley, who gives me the HM for Strength. It looks like we're gonna have a companion mission with him. Thank God, I'm super afraid of being alone with Iron. Riley, come back! I guess we're going through the first part of Iron Island all by our lonesome. This is definitely up there in my favorite locations in the game. I always enjoy these dungeon segments in Pokemon games where you're on your own, far removed from Pokemon centers and towns, and you have to fight your way through this long, sprawling area with no convenient safety net except for the items you have on you. They're always a fun challenge and really satisfying to overcome. They also provide some time to just take a break from the story and do some good old-fashioned adventuring uninterrupted, which I always appreciate. Iron Island specifically is where I feel the game's difficulty really starts to ramp up more. There's a much higher volume of trainers here that use evolved Pokemon with levels on par with my own, which makes it an especially fun dungeon to go through. I found the TM for Iron Tail, which I always thought was just the coolest move when I was younger. I think it had to do with Pikachu using it in the anime or something. But looking at it critically now, it's kinda shit. Like, yeah, it's strong, but 75% accuracy just isn't worth it. I just don't have the patience to deal with moves that don't hit all the time. Missing moves, especially on a semi-frequent basis, is annoying at best and catastrophic at worst. Besides, every Pokemon veteran knows that pretty much any move with less than 100 accuracy functionally has 0 accuracy. I'd rather have Iron Head any day. You know it's a sign you're getting old and jaded when you stop liking Iron Tail. I'm just starting to overcome my fear of Element 26 when I finally meet up with Riley, and now that I've mentioned how making a grueling trek through a dungeon on your own is pretty fun, I've kinda realized how much companion trainers take away in a setting like this. Your Pokemon are automatically fully healed after every fight, and half the time your companion's overpowered-ass Pokemon will absolutely carry battles. Where's the challenge in that? There's no medium or long-term consequences for you being reckless in battle and getting your Pokemon weakened or knocked out. In single player, you're at the very least forced to waste potions, but not here. I think companion missions work a little better near the beginning when you aren't flush with cash from abusing the amulet coin and thus don't have access to countless healing items. But by this point in the game, the player usually has a decent amount of money and is capable of amassing a pretty substantial stockpile of potions and revives, so it just isn't nearly as balanced here. Also, as a side note, double battles are so infrequent in the game outside of this setting. I'd love to have a segment where you just face double battle after double battle by yourself. It might make double battles more of a legitimate mechanic with its own strategies and tricks of the trade rather than just an occasional gimmick. Eventually, we encounter some galactic grunts and battle them. It was easy, go figure. Riley offers to give me a Pokemon egg. It's a Riolu, which is a pretty solid Pokemon, but it doesn't really fit my team composition, and I don't have room in my party anyway, so sorry pal, you're stuck with it. In the final room of the area, I find a shiny stone, which means I can finally give Flowey the upgrade he so dearly deserves. Rose Raid at last. We're now another step closer to having a fully grown team. I always love this mid-late-ish point in the game where you start to see all your party members reach their final evolutions. It feels like all the hard work is finally paying off. Next up, I challenge the Canalave City Gym. It's a Steel-type gym, so I just swept all the trainers with Gibby and Meta Knight. The puzzle design of this gym isn't really anything to write home about from an objective standpoint, but I still like traversing it for some reason. Anyway, I quickly make my way to Gym Leader Byron. Fun fact, he's Rourke's dad. I guess when Rock grows up, it becomes a metal alloy. Oh boy, time for my 6th gym battle. Surely I won't sweep him incredibly easily. And we're done. Okay, seriously, why the fuck are gym leaders still having 3 Pokemon at this point? This has been a problem in quite a few Pokemon games. There's 6 slots in a full team, but NPCs never seem to go farther than 50%. What's the thought process here? Why have these boss battle trainers that are in-universe supposed to be some of the toughest in the region be missing half a team? Like, yeah, my rival can have a well-rounded team of 5, but no, giving this guy a Bronzong would be too scary.
Well, I'd love to continue bitching about a dumb children's game, but school comes first. I've got a class starting soon, so I'll have to continue the adventure another day.
Alright, 5 minutes till History 201, and holy shit, is that half a granola bar?